Hi guys, welcome to another fully operational Star Wars LCG videocast. Today I'm bringing you, this might be a bit of a treat for all of those who watch and listen to the Frozen in Carbonite podcast. This is a game between Anton on the right playing his dark side versus Spike on the left as smugglers. And we're fortunate enough to have Anton join us for this cast. Hi Anton.
Hi Andy, thanks for bringing me along.
Hey, no problem, always a pleasure. So yeah, this is a game from the Swiss rounds at the London regional that was held at Darksphere on the 11th of May earlier this year. And yeah, tell us a bit about the event, Anton. How do you think it went, and how did you do specifically?
Well, for me it went really well because I came second in the event, but it was an odd day to say the least. Losing in the first round, getting a bye in the second, and then working my way to the final.
Fair enough. So, do you think how do you think your decks performed then? I see you've started off with Navy with the dark side. Is that with a view to going into Sith, or?
No, it's an odd one. It's my if you listen to the podcast, it's my Navy Scum bit of everything deck, which it was specifically designed for the freeholder, holding all the cards.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned you had a lot of zero cost events and units to be able to dump your hand. So it looks like Spike's querying some stuff for the objectives.
Yeah, he wanted to know if against all odds stacked.
It does, doesn't it? I'm sure
Yeah,
it does.
it does, yeah.
So Spike choosing his 3 objectives there. If he's put against all odds on the bottom, I assume he's got another one in those 3.
Here I'm deliberate, trying to work out what objectives to pick, because I think I've got quite a big mix in there, so I'm having to really decide what to choose.
Yeah, now correct me if I'm wrong, you actually played, was it 11 or 12 pods?
It was 12 pods.
12 pods, so how many one-offs were in there?
Well, I think it's about 4.
4, so you've got quite a bit of variety on your objective draws, I guess.
Yeah.
So are there any 3 that you're particularly looking for or hoping for?
I like a defense protocol.
Yep.
And don't mind a tattooing crash, and probably prefer to have at least like 1-2 resource objective if possible.
Yeah. So what, have you got a lucrative contract in there, or
no, it's just the yeah.
Gotcha. So yeah, I think we talked about a couple of those objectives on the latest podcast. So things like defense protocol, just being able to do 1 damage to clear out shifty lookouts and the like. It's very nice.
So you can nicely see clear Spike's hand here. It's got holding all the cards, resources, but not any big units.
Has he? Now I missed whilst we were talking. Did he already mulligan, or has he kept that hand on?
Yeah, we both mulliganed. So we both said, yeah, we live by our cards.
So Anton, you've drawn. Is that Death and Despair?
Yeah.
So that's the Devastator pod and 2 Tattooing Crash. So instantly activating all your capture mechanics. I don't know how many you actually had in that deck though.
I think that and Bosk was the only type of capture mechanic I think I had in the deck.
Yeah, and it looks like an Asteroid Sanctuary hit and run, and against all odds for Spike. So
yeah.
Espo Trooper and first turn.
My usual start, like to play. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it there? Are you happy to see the TIE Attack Squadron on first turn?
Yes and no. If I'm coming up against Rebels, I know it can get Rebel assaulted, so I like to see it come into the second turn. But it was the only big unit I had, and I wanted to put some fear in there.
Yeah. And anything else coming out from your hand? So I noticed you've not tapped out your Imperial resource there, so gets rid of the.
And this is where I make an error. I've paid for Death from Above when I can't really play that card right now.
Oh right, so it needs to be. I guess it needs to be whilst you're attacking, and I guess do you need 2 vehicles attacking whilst you're doing it as well?
Yeah. So.
Right. But just...
Well, you can put it on 1, but because there's no conflict phase, yeah.
Right. Okay. So, just talk us through that. Is that you just dumping a card to make freeloaders 1 more?
Yeah. That's my whole tactic, is just try and keep my cards down, because I know knowing Spike, and we talked before the event, I sort of knew what he was planning to run, so
Yeah.
I knew I was going to see holding all the cards a lot.
So it looks like he's dropping a resource there. Never a bad thing to see on turn 1. And what we're looking for, so surely we're going to see holding all the cards, and hopefully Spike can dig for some beefier units to drop out on turn 1. Oh, the alternate art Han. Missed that one. Fair enough. So he opts for the Han instead of holding all the cards.
Yep.
Interesting choice.
So my Espo Trooper's looking a bit frail now at the moment.
Yeah, that gunshot's aimed quite perfectly at the Espo Trooper's face. The art on Han there, it's quite nice. I've got to say, I'm surprised that holding all the cards didn't come out first.
I think he's pretty confident he can do what he needs to do with Han.
With Han, yeah. So Han goes in, doesn't miss the trigger, like any good player.
He changed his mind here. He was going to do the Espo Trooper, and then he decided to put the damage onto the TIE Attack Squadron.
That's an interesting decision, because Han has targeted strike with 2 unit damage, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So he's going to be able to, as long as he lives through this strike, he's going to be able to kill either of them with his normal attack. So not quite sure why he opted to put on the TIE Attack Squadron there. Interesting choice. The heat of battle, fair enough. Spike answers in perfect style.
Unfortunately, I won the edge though.
So you put 1 on Han.
And I played a heated battle.
Right. Okay. So that's a trade for the TIE Attack Squadron, which is, I think that's probably gone in your favour on turn 1, seeing as your Espo is going to unfocus, and you've got a clear board, so you can start swinging if you want to put some damage on his objectives. So refresh. Death and Despair didn't tap out last turn, so it is fully available again this turn.
Take some more cards.
2 more captures. I didn't see. Did you look at those cards then when you captured them?
No, I just blindly.
You just chuck them in there. Fair enough. Another Espo. A Jawa, so 3 units for days.
And this is how explosive the deck can be when you can get 3 units out and then pay for a big gun.
Pay for a Devastator. So Devastator usually costs, is it 5?
6, but I played an English reserves to get him out.
Right, for 5.
5.
And then no messing around. Devastator just no defenders, so no need to dump any cards into the edge battle. 4 damage, +1 for unopposed. Bye-bye. Against all odds. I don't think you had the resource to tick it up 1 more though, did you?
No, not at the time, no.
Just an objective for now. Never a bad thing. Spike sitting on a Wookiee, a Twi'lek Smuggler, I think.
Another thing I do is I always try and put as many as I can on the Force with the cheap units. I know they're going to possibly die, so keeping them on the Force isn't too much of a detriment.
Well, I know it's a very standard tactic with the Jawas because you know they're not going to be on the board for very long. But yeah, it's good to see that with the Espo Troopers in the same vein as well.
That's another little trick I just played. When he plays holding all the cards, I can play an Endless Reserves to get it out of my hand.
And that's still actually effective for your next card, isn't it? So as long as you...
Yeah, if you can remember.
If you can remember it. That's true, actually. Spike just flicking through his hand now. He doesn't seem to have too many strong or high-powered characters, so I can see a Twi'lek, I can see that Wookiee.
I think, like his last game, he's really looking for freeholders, and he's not seeing them.
Yeah, and again, this is back in the before the FAQ that Fantasy Flight released, where freeholders and Dash could be in the same deck, so that's why you see Spike holding other cards. Twi'lek out on his own for now. That is a crossfire, so there's some potential stealthy combat icons could be played on that Twi'lek. He does have the resource open for it, and he does go in with the Twi'lek. I assume he's going for a Tatooine crash here, just trying to free up some cards, get back to his hand. It'd be funny if you had all 4 of the freeholders there.
And that's what I also like about this deck, because I've got all these low-cost cards. I will try and defend with as many of them as I can, because I know I'll get possibly swindled in the heat of battles or rebel assaults.
And when Spike's only got the 1 attacker out, you've not got anything funny coming afterwards.
So I've twisted in there.
Spike's still going. Well, you've both still got a fair number of cards in hand, so Spike seems to be holding on to that crossfire. I think he's intending on using that.
He's twisted me.
Twisting for days. Is that target of opportunity? I think I saw Spike just play. It is, and a heat of battle for you. So that Twi'lek is out of here. And it was on Tatooine Crash, so 1 damage gone in. Gotta say though, Devastator out on the board, and no board at all for the light side. This is looking painful for Spike. Dial must be up to, I guess, 5 by now?
I think so, yeah. My only risk is, if I go too aggressive, I might risk pulling up a false report. But I can't remember how I played it. So,
discarding a Dark Trooper, so you've got the General Mock and objective set in there, so some ability to hold the force as well with those cheap characters.
Yeah.
So let's have a look. So if you can definitely destroy 1 with Devastator. That'll tick the dial up to 7, 8 if you pay the resource. So you're getting close to be able to make some magic happen here, Anton. What do we see in your hand there? So control room. I mean, once you've got Devastator out on the field, what kind of units are you looking to see? What are you hoping for?
If I want to go all aggressive, TIE Attack Squadron would be nice, just to keep any of his units at bay if they do come out.
Yeah.
And if I can get Talon Rolls going, then they can be very aggressive units.
Yeah. And obviously they get stronger when you play the edge cards with them as well.
Yeah.
It's Transition. So if we do see a Chewie from that Wookiee Life deck, this is helping. It just seems to be steady away, control the board for you. I wonder, is there part of you that's thinking not playing that many characters out just in case a false report does flip?
Probably no, because I'm still going aggressive.
Still going for it.
Yeah.
Even if your Devastator just goes in on his own every turn, it's he's getting the job done, ticking the dial up, which is not something we saw much of actually. And certainly at this regional event, there was a lot of Sith and Scum who had no real other way of ticking the dial up than just sitting back and destroy the old objective. But Devastator certainly helps you. And
right now I've realised that I didn't actually put any edge cards when I struck with the Devastator, so I wanted to dump some out of my hand, so I teched with the Espo just to get rid of some.
Right, so just the unopposed on Asteroid Sanctuary. Right, tactics out, yep. So a little bit risky. I guess you've only got the transition now, so potential for Spike to have an explosive turn, but no. Is that no units drawn?
No units.
Ouch. Quick game 1. Brutal. So yeah, that's a bit of a combination of explosive turn from you, Anton, and no draw from the smugglers. Fair enough. I mean, was that fairly indicative of what you saw on the day? Was winning quite quickly with your deck?
Yeah, I think I shocked a few people with how fast that the deck can come out and win.
Yeah.
Especially when you see the final.
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, so sub 15-minute game there. Well done, Anton. Such a quick victory.
Thank you.
Moving on to game 2, guys. Don't forget to check out the UK and Ireland Star Wars LCG Facebook page, as well as the UK's best Star Wars podcast, Frozen in Carbonite. Links to both are in the description.